The story was all the same. There is no Japanese problem on the coast. There will be no armed uprising of Japanese. Special Investigator of the State Department, Curtis B. Munson.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. The Japanese have attacked Pearl Harbor, Hawaii by air, President Roosevelt has just announced. The attack also was made on all naval and military activities.
I ask that the Congress declare that since the unprovoked and dastardly attack by Japan on Sunday, December 7th, 1941, a state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire.
We will not under any threat or in face of any danger surrender the guarantees of liberty our forefathers framed for us in the Bill of Rights. President Franklin D. Roosevelt.
I always felt that I was Japanese American when I belonged in America, that I was part of the group. Before December 7, 1941, it never occurred to me that I was not. Mary Matsuda.
You are an American citizen. You wish that people who glare at you and make rude comments could understand this, but many do not. To them, you are the enemy.
After Pearl Harbor, the teachers would never say we were American citizens. Not one of them. Their use of the word Japs was terrible. We talked about the principles of the Constitution in social studies, but they didn't understand. Mitz Koshiyama.
A few days after the attack on Pearl Harbor, a Japanese friend calls to tell you and your family that the FBI agents have been searching Japanese homes. Your parents have many books of classic Japanese literature. Your mother has a collection of Japanese dolls that she displays on Girls' Day and Boys' Day. Your father lights a fire, and one by one, these treasures are dropped into the flames. The last to go are all the photographs of your family members in Japan. Gomenasai ne. Please forgive me for this, you beg the photographs. Meanwhile, rumors of forced relocation for all Japanese and Japanese Americans spread. Along with them, discrimination and hatred grows.
Go home, you Jap!
All persons of Japanese ancestry, both alien and non-alien, will be evacuated from the above area by 12 o'clock, May 16, 1942. Evacuation orders.
The evacuation orders finally arrive. You, your brother, and your parents have around 10 days to get your affairs in order. For some families, this means selling everything. Luckily, you have a kind neighbor who offers to store all your belongings for you.
People were like scavengers. Wherever they knew Japanese families were, they'd come right up. Hey, you got anything to sell? What do you want to get rid of?
On evacuation day, you report to the depot with only belongings designated by the evacuation orders. Beddings, toiletries, etc. You arrive at the depot, which is surrounded by armed guards.
I remember having the family number put on me. It was like a dog tag or luggage tag on a piece of string. Say Uno.
From the depot, you are taken to the Assembly Center in Portland, Oregon, the Pacific International Exposition Building, Fairgrounds.
We were housed in a barn where the animals had been placed for exhibition show. Our compartment had plywood flooring covering the entryway. The only furniture was the 6 cots for our family of 6. Our clothes were in 2 suitcases. We were allowed for the entire family. Maya Ninomiya.
May 6, last night, I did not get a bit of sleep because the Kurihara children next door were coughing alternately all night with whooping cough. I can imagine the trouble and anxiety. This must cause their parents, Mr. and Mrs. Kurihara, and I truly sympathize with them. Saku Tomita. May 9th, today we did not have any bread for lunch or for dinner either. I did not have enough to eat. Saku く止めた。
Our endurance throughout the hot summer days, with the penetration of animal odors and our anxiety over our future, finally came to close in September. We were all herded into trains for our next home, Hunt, Idaho. Mae Minamiya.
5 months later, you learn that you will be moving to a camp in Idaho, known as Minidoka. An unpleasant train trip will take you to your new home.
When we first arrived here, we almost cried, and thought this was the land that God had forgotten. The vast expanse of nothing but sagebrush and dust, a landscape so alien to our eyes, and a desolate, woe-begotten feeling of being so far removed from home and fireside bogged us down mentally as well as physically. Minidoka.
The camp is still very far from completed. They had to interrupt movement for a week because of lack of housing facilities. In fact, the last group of 500 which left had to sleep in mess halls, laundry rooms, and any available bed space. Kenji Okuda.
Minidoka is located in the high desert terrain of Idaho. The rocky land is defined by dust, with sagebrush and rattlesnakes peppering the area. The camp is made up of unfinished barracks and is surrounded by barbed wire fences.
The thing I felt most was the lack of privacy, and that there wasn't any place you could just go and sit down and reflect. It was just like, hey, everyone's around, and it's just was no privacy. And also the warm interaction with the family was missing. Hakiko K. October 16, 1942. I realized that today was Friday because the fish was served. How monotonous life is here. Again, another day passed through laundry and miscellaneous things.
These people are living in the midst of a desert where they see nothing except tar paper, covered barracks, sagebrush, and rocks. No flowers, no trees, no shrubs, no grass. The impact of emotional disturbance as a result of the evacuation. Plus, this dull, dreary existence in a desert region surely must give these people a feeling of helplessness, hopelessness, and a despair, which we on the outside do not and will never fully understand. Arthur Kleinkopf, Superintendent of Education at Minidoka Relocation Center.
Even though there's a strong sense of community in the camp due to the fact that you and your fellow internees have all come from the same area, restlessness among everyone from being isolated from the outside world grows.
Life in a relocation center is an unnatural and un-American sort of life. Keep in mind that the evacuees were charged with nothing except having Japanese ancestors. There are approximately 40,000 young people below the age of 20 years in relocation centers. It is not the American way to have children growing up behind barbed wire and under the security of guards. Dylan Meyer, National Director of War Relocation Authority, 1943.
Every citizen in this country has a right to our basic freedoms, to justice, and to equality of opportunity, and we retain the right to lead our individual lives as we please, but we can only do so if we grant to others the freedom that we wish for ourselves. Eleanor Roosevelt.
A loyalty questionnaire is distributed to everyone over the age of 17. For the male Nisei and Kibe, the questionnaire includes 2 questions that ask about the willingness to serve in the military and loyalty to the United States. For the female Nisei and Issei, it includes 2 questions that ask about the willingness to serve in the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps or the Army Nurse Corps. Each question brings insult. Like many young men from Minidoka, your brother becomes a yes boy, a young man who answered yes to questions 27 and 28. He will become a member of the 442nd Regimental Combat Team, an all-Nisei unit. You stay in the camp with your parents. Your family will continue to live here, waiting until further